Good day to you. It's the 10th of June 2022 and this is video 45S, and the S would properly stand for shame. Now, I didn't intend making a video today. I've been out working on a drainage job and down in muck and holes and everything like that in the ground and operating machinery, but I just came in for a quick cup and I see some of the things that's on the news and some of the sickening stuff that's going on. Now, one of the first things I notice is that President M D Higgins has linked the shooting and massacre of 50 Roman Catholics in Nigeria, almost certainly by Islamic jihadists, not proven yet, with climate change. Here he is here, with climate change, folks. Now, this article on Breitbart News, which quotes him, says, and I'll read it here: Ireland's left-wing president has attempted to link the recent massacre of at least 50 Catholic churchgoers in Nigeria to climate change, ignoring the issue of rampant Islamism in the country. Michael D. Higgins, the president of Ireland, and this is on an American media report, appears to have linked the recent mass shootings in Nigeria to the effects of climate change in the region. Climate change. There is no effects in Nigeria, good, bad or indifferent. It used to be Biafra. There was a famine in it 50 to 60 years ago. At least 50 Catholics were massacred last Sunday after gunmen reportedly opened fire on worshippers celebrating Pentecost Mass in St. Francis Catholic Church, located in the town of Oa. It remains unknown who exactly is responsible, though contextually it appears to be Muslim jihadists. Right? No, he says no, oh it's not, oh no, it's climate change. However, in a statement published on the massacre on Tuesday, Higgins appears to link the mass killings to climate change in the region, dedicating 3 of the 4 paragraphs of his written statement to talking about the issue. Meanwhile, the issue of radical Islamic terrorism was not mentioned by the president even once. Not even once, despite the likes of ISIS-linked Boko Haram being extremely active in Nigeria. That such an attack was made in a place of worship is a source of particular condemnation, as is any attempt to scapegoat pastoral peoples who are among the foremost victims of the consequence of climate change, the statement published in the official website of the president read. I'll just read you now what this jackass has said again. That such an attack was made in a place of worship is a source of particular condemnation. But who? Whom are you condemning, Michael D? As is any attempt to scapegoat pastoral peoples. Who scapegoated them? All the evidence is it was Islamic terrorists scapegoated them. Why don't you say that? Now, to scapegoat pastoral peoples who are among the foremost victims of the consequence of climate change. They were quite happy, Michael D. Higgins. They were in there worshipping their God, the same as people who elected you like to do a lot of Sundays. They weren't in there whinging about climate change. They were in saying a few prayers, probably with their kinfolk buried in the grounds of the church. The victims of climate change, the statement published. The neglect of food security issues in Africa for so long has brought us to a point of crisis that is now having internal regional effects based on struggles, ways of life themselves. See? The solidarity of us all as the peoples of the world, oh he's globalist, oh peoples of the world, is owed to all those impacted, not only by the horrible events, by this horrible event, but by the struggle by most vulnerable to whom the consequences of climate change are being inflicted, it concluded. It wasn't the fellas that aim and bang, 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 bang. But when it happens in America, where school children are killed, oh, it's the other way. They don't blame that on climate change. What kind of a jackass idiot have we made the president? I want to meet him. I go up to the Phoenix Park any day and I want to meet him and tell him exactly what the truth is. Because he's a traitor to our country. A dirty traitor. To hell with him. That's what he blames for the massacre of these innocent African people. There was war in Africa in the 1960s. It was known as Biafra. They were killing each other. In fact, the first person I ever saw to be killed by a rifle was in Biafra on BBC television. And somebody actually knew his name on this channel. I'm angry. To hell with them. Beggars gets. Now, the Taoiseach, Micheál Martin. I want to show you now what a Swedish MEP. Now, Sweden welcomed all these migrants in and everything else, and now it's a hellhole. It's a hellhole. And they're afraid of Russia getting in there, and they want the Americans to protect them with NATO. Go in there, Russia, and give them a dressing down. It wouldn't do these people any harm. But at least this Swedish MEP realises now the devastation being wrought on his country by mass uncontrolled migration. Now here is the European Parliament, followed by the Taoiseach's reply, and I'll try and play it for you. Now remember, I didn't intend making this. My tea has gone cold. I'm getting the job done. But this is unbelievable.
The Swedish Social Democrats hoped that the amnesty for migrants in 2005 would give us pause. The opposite happened. Pull factors increased. The following decade meant a migration wave we've never seen before. This year, one shooting a day, one bombing a week, and areas ruled by criminal gangs and clans caused Bildzeitung to name my country the most dangerous country in Europe. Now, I understand that your government is pushing through a mass amnesty. For how many, no one seems to know. Taoiseach, have you looked at migration prognosis for the future? Ipsos tells us that 1.5 billion people would like to migrate if given the opportunity. The French government estimates that 35 to 40% of those would choose Europe. That's 500 million that would like to go to our continent if given the opportunity. The same as the whole EU population, Taoiseach. Africa's population is set to grow from 1.4 billion today to 4 billion at the end of this century, and there aren't enough jobs. Taoiseach Martin, do you think that mass amnesties for illegal migrants by EU member states is going to alleviate or worsen migration pressure on Europe? Thank you.
Most companies are in search of talent or ability and so on. That speaks to the question of migration that a colleague also spoke about and questioned Ireland's, asserted that there was an amnesty in Ireland. There's no amnesty in Ireland, but we do believe that if the undocumented are undocumented for a long period of time, they need to have their lives regularised. They need to have their lives resolved and become full citizens of Ireland. That's what we're doing. They need to have their lives regularised. They need to have their lives resolved and become full citizens of Ireland. That's what we're doing. They need to have their lives regularised.
Now, folks, it tends to repeat there.
Full citizens of Ireland. That's what we're doing.
That's the way it goes. It's just a copy of a video. Now, just see what the Swedish MEP said. There's 500 million Africans wants to come to Europe, and the only country that has open borders is Ireland. And every town in Ireland has a whole load of undocumented people who came in here flew in without any section, any invitation, any check. So he's lying when he says about it. On one hand, he says, oh, there's a skill shortage. What skill shortage? What examination has been done of these people to see if their skills are suitable, if they have the education? Who said there was a skill shortage? There's an inflation shortage at the minute for certain jobs. Who says these people are going to do them? Down in several towns in this country, the councils have been given instructions to buy up property. Down in Cavan Town, I'm after hearing that there's a person there got emptied out all flats. He had something like 13 flats, which is all right, and got rid of the people out of them and decided to sell the whole thing and retire. And when he was about to sell it, Cavan County Council gave him 1.3 million a year for the first year just to rent it, to put these people into it. Meanwhile, the other Irish people had to get out of their accommodation, and that accommodation is going to be shut down. 500 million Africans are due to come to Europe, and Ireland is the easiest touch. What can we do? I mean, this puts the whole fights down through the years, the 1798 rebellion, Collins, the whole lot. This makes a mockery of the whole damn thing. With this dirty, rotten traitor and his rotten Fianna Fáil traitors. What about the people over in Tunnyduff going to vote for that dumbbell, Niamh Smith? What has she to say about it? What has Brendan Smith's people down in Cavan and over in Bombay? What about Matt Carthy? He's worse. They're going to vote Sinn Féin. He'll not alone want Africa, he'll want Asia in as well. It'll be Irelandistan. What about Pauline Tully? Has anyone talked to her? What about Heather Humphreys? There was a report in last Sunday's paper that 4 out of every 5 Fine Gael seats are in danger of being lost. Well, it's a start. At least if we got rid of them, there'll be some little hope to say a change is as good as a rest. I don't actually know the answer. I don't know what the answer is when a government of a country and its political class turn against its people. When they use the vote that was given to them for the good of the country and the good of the people and to help the less well off in the society for foreign countries. When Ireland provides its welfare not for the Irish people, but for the whole of Africa and the whole of Asia. That is the situation. They'll deny it up and down, but that is what that Swedish MEP was saying, folks. That's what he was saying. They've been there, done that. What can we do? Well, you want to talk to voters. You want to pass this video around, and you want to talk to voters when you meet them out, especially those whom you know vote Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael, and tell them they're destroying the country. They're destroying it. That's the fact. Try and raise awareness. The other thing is, of course, just like other things the government does, they're always trying to enrich builders and property owners. And a big thing here is there's a whole lot of hotel owners with failed hotels, big empty buildings. And they're laughing all the way to the bank because they're packed with these migrants. It's happening in Kingscourt Town, it's happening on the Carrickmacross Road, and it's happening in Cavan Town, it's happening in all these towns. They're lining their pockets at our expense. Not only at our expense of our cost and our taxes, but at the expense of our children's future. They're taking it away. And if I'm angry, well, I am angry. To hell with it. It's about time people copped on. Try and get people to understand what is happening. This vote of 15% for Fianna Fáil is far too big. We've got to get that down to about 9%. There'll be a few old jackasses that got land of the Land Commission in the 1960s and they'll never forget them. And many a man tells me that's what Irish politics is about. But we always had enough of sense from even the Haughey government not to do this. They wouldn't do this. This is a complete, utter dose of treachery. Try and get people to remember, even though you mightn't like the National Party, they'll say they're Nazis, they'll say that it's the Irish Freedom Party and the independent TDs who are doing a stalwart job. All of those great independent TDs, only for them, were finished altogether. But try and get people to vote anything except Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and Sinn Féin and the other left loonies. in Dublin. Surely you can see the way the inflation and prices have gone up. Surely you can see our young people cannot get a house. They cannot afford the lifestyle we had. We were far better off growing up than them. In my day you could get a council loan. The council had money. Now the council is splashing out millions on busloads and busloads of foreigners to cater for every dispute that ever happens. Not only now, and when the Ukraine is over, it'll be Nigeria. Oh, there's a war, the poor things. Bring in 5 million. Next thing it'll be China. It'll be somewhere else. This is the mindset of all of the political parties in Ireland. That is the mindset. That's where their heart lies. Not one of them speaks out against this. Not one. None of them. And yet when I talk to ordinary people, they continually say to me, what do you think of this? Why are they getting away with it? Unfortunately, the present government has enough to stay in government. If they were hovering on the brink, they might be a bit slower. It is an absolute shame that that idiot Michael D. Higgins makes a statement like that, and that jackass Micheál Martin tries to waffle his way through the destruction of his country by the party set up by Eamon de Valera. I can say no more, folks. I don't like to hurt people's feelings or anything else, but this is an emergency far greater than anything else, COVID, climate or anything else. This is a full-scale emergency with our country that and we all work for being destroyed. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down and pass this round and let these idiots look at it. Let the nice little mothers and the nice little, oh, look at my thing. The next thing they'll have you is in NATO, and your son will be conscripted and put fighting somewhere. You'll be lucky to get a text. That's the next thing they want. It's time to put the foot down. Folks, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And I'm sorry to be angry like that, but I am bloody angry, I'll tell you that. Thank you very much.